Social Security, scrap the cap. That's what we're talking about right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, now as of recently, maybe you've heard this new saying floating around in regards to Social Security called scrap the cap. What does that actually mean? That's a good question and exactly what we're going to focus on right here in the video, because believe it or not, this whole scrap the cap idea is actually getting a lot of attention and a lot of traction in Congress. Therefore, let's get into it and talk about what it means for Social Security benefits. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate. Not only that, because we are rapidly approaching 500,000 subscribers right here on the channel, and it would mean so much to me if you subscribe right down below. Also, please remember, I'm here for you right by your side every single day to keep you updated with everything going on as things continue to change very rapidly during this very busy, confusing, and uncertain time that we're currently living through. So again, I'm here for you to watch all this new information, do the research, and break it down into these videos to point out anything out there that may impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, anything showing up you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, as I'll be here for you every single day, no matter what. That's my dedication, my commitment, and my promise to you and everybody right here in the community. All right, let's get into it and talk about scrap the cap. Where did this come from and why is this such a big deal when it comes to Social Security? All right, so let me talk you through the details, because when I came across this a short time ago, I thought, that's interesting, but I don't really know about this whole thing, right? Well, sure enough, it's popping up all over the place right now, and I want to bring this to your attention. Maybe you've seen it already floating around in the headlines, maybe you've heard it somewhere, but this is now the new saying, the new tagline for Social Security. Do you like it or not? Scrap the cap. I don't know. It rings a little bit, but let me talk you through the details. Now, let me have you guess for just a second. Who do you think is the person who coined this phrase? I bet you already know the person. Yup, I'll give you a little hint. He is a senator, he's loud, he makes a lot of noise, he likes to rattle the cage. I bet you know for sure who it is now. Yep, you're right, it's Bernie Sanders. Okay, now we've covered that one, okay? Yes, Bernie Sanders is the one who coined this phrase. He's talking about the cap on Social Security payroll taxes. Now, let me talk you through the details of what Bernie Sanders wants to do here and why he has come up with this new tagline, scrap the cap for Social Security. I mean, seriously, every time I say it and every time I think about it, it's kind of funny because it's just like, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird saying, but it has a little tagline, and honestly, it's getting attention. That's exactly what Bernie wants, okay? All right, so let me talk you through the details about this. So Bernie Sanders is talking about the payroll cap on Social Security taxes, okay? So as of right now, in 2023, the maximum taxable earnings for Social Security, payroll taxes is $160,200. So Bernie Sanders is talking about, and he's mentioned this a couple times, he likes to say this, somebody earning $160,000 a year pays the same amount as somebody earning $100 million a year. Why he has to use $100 million as an example, I'm not really sure. Point out one person that's making $100 million a year besides like 5 people. I mean, let's just be real for a second, okay? He could have been a little bit less aggressive and said like, I don't know, somebody earning $400,000 a year or like $1 million a year or something like that. But he said $100 million a year. There's like a handful of people in this country that make $100 million a year. And they're like huge CEOs, okay? Other than that, like very few people are earning $100 million a year. So I think it's a little bit extreme, but whatever. That's the example that Bernie Sanders has used. So basically his point is a person that's earning $100 million or multiple millions of dollars a year, or basically anything over $160,000 a year, is paying the same amount in Social Security payroll taxes as somebody earning $160,000 a year. Yep, that's true. They're paying the same amount, because the reason for that is, as of right now, and back in October of 2022, the Social Security Administration increased the maximum taxable earnings by just under 9%, up to $160,200, up from $147,000 last year in 2022. So basically what this means is anybody earning basically up to $160,200 this year in 2023 is going to pay the payroll taxes into Social Security on all of that income. Any income over that threshold, $160,200 this year in 2023, is no longer taxable by Social Security. Yes, it is still taxable by Medicare, but no, it is no longer taxable by Social Security, okay? So as a result of that, Bernie Sanders is having a hard time with this because he's thinking, why are higher income people not paying payroll taxes on Social Security with all of this higher income, right? So Bernie Sanders wants to change that. In fact, with the Social Security Expansion Act, his what's the word I'm looking for? His gold crown achievements. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. The word I'm trying to say is slipping my mind at the moment. But my point is, the bill that Bernie Sanders has been working on for quite a while now, and he actually introduced this way back in the summer of last year. I believe it was in about May or June of 2022. He also introduced this, but he also reintroduced this same bill back in January of this year as well. He reintroduced the same bill. Actually, I believe it was in maybe late January or even early February, he introduced this bill again. So just not that long ago, he came back and reintroduced the Social Security Expansion Act yet again in Congress, trying to get them to basically implement this bill. And this is the one that would implement a $200 per month raise to Social Security beneficiaries, or $2,400 per year. It would also increase taxes. So that is what he is really focused on. He wants to increase taxes on higher income people. So basically re-implementing essentially like an unlimited Social Security payroll tax above $250,000. So according to what it looks like with the Social Security Expansion Act is that there would be, payroll taxes up to the $160,200, and then there'd be like a donut hole effect where there'd be nothing up until the $250,000 with this plan out of Bernie Sanders, and then all income over $250,000 with this plan from Bernie Sanders would be taxable by Social Security. So basically, long story short, with his whole plan of scrapping the cap, scrap the cap, his new little saying here, the whole idea would this be to take away the cap on Social Security payroll taxes. In other words, on higher income individuals, taking that cap away, and therefore a lot more tax revenues would be coming into Social Security. And this is what his plan is, to change Social Security, as in reform the program and make sure that it remains solvent for many more decades to come. In fact, with the Social Security Expansion Act, that plan alone would increase solvency in Social Security by about 75 years, out until the end of this century. So that's a long time from now, right? Yeah, out until about 2096, according to the projections on that. So yeah, that would push solvency out a very long time. It would increase taxes substantially, and it would also increase benefits by $200 a month. Now, I want to throw this out there really quickly. I've said this before in other videos, but let me say it again really quickly. Congress, what do? Their go-to with everything and the fix for everything is always raise taxes. It's like they don't have any other ideas floating around in their little minds there. The only idea bouncing around in their little brain is to raise taxes on everybody all the time. So that's always their go-to, is raise taxes, raise taxes, raise taxes. Let's just raise taxes on everybody. So that is always their go-to. So what are they going to default to? Let's raise taxes. Let's come up with another plan to raise taxes. You know what I mean? That's what they're always talking about. It's like they have a single track mind. That's like the only thing that floats around in their head. Oh, taxes. How can we raise taxes on everybody again, right? So that is what they talk about, and that is what they focus on. Anyway, a new plan out of Bernie Sanders. Well, it's not necessarily a new plan. It's more like a new saying out of Bernie Sanders. Scrap the cap. And that is what it means. So if you happen to come across this and you happen to see it floating around out there, or if you hear about this, this is the new tagline for Social Security. And again, just like Bernie Sanders does, he makes a lot of noise, he gets a lot of attention, he gets the people all riled up, and that's what he's good at. I mean, let's just be real for a second. Whether you like Bernie Sanders or you don't, you have to be real with yourself for a second here. Bernie Sanders gets a lot of people worked up in a pretty big way, right? He gets attention. And again, he wants that attention. Again, whether it's positive or negative attention, he's getting attention. I mean, we got to be fair for a second. He gets attention, right? So anything that Bernie Sanders comes out and talks about, he usually gets the people all riled up and gets people all worked up and things like this. And again, gets people talking. Just like this here, a little tagline is floating around. And again, it's getting a lot of attention when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to Congress, and it comes to, politics as usual. People saying, raise the cap, scrap the cap. All these other things, all these new bills, packages, and proposals coming out of Congress when it comes to Social Security. So anyway, I wanted to bring this to your attention, just in case you saw it and wondering what this happens to be. This is what it is. And yes, coined by yours truly, Bernie Sanders. You know what I mean? So anyway, Hope you're doing well, but I want to bring this to your attention really quickly, explain the details of what this actually means, and the plan Bernie has up his old sleeve there. By the way, Bernie has a lot of plans up his sleeve. But again, you always got to watch Bernie. I've been saying this for years now. You got to watch Bernie because he's been around a long time. He causes a lot of noise. He causes a lot of chaos. And again, that's his plan, right? He wants to do this because it gets people talking, just like what we're doing right here. So props to Bernie for, kind of stirring the pot yet again. So anyway, just want to bring this to your attention and let you know what's going on out there. Well, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe down below. If you haven't done so, share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, take care, and catch you again later in the next video.